Have you ever wondered why you don't feel like yourself anymore? Why that energy, that drive, that confidence you once had seems to have vanished? It's not just aging, it's something far more dangerous happening inside your body right now. According to recent medical research, testosterone levels in American me have plummeted nearly 30% in the last generation alone. What's truly alarming is that most of these declines are not simply the result of getting older, but are linked to preventable habits that most men never think twice about. I'm Dr. John, men's health specialist, with over 30 years of experience helping thousands of men reclaim their energy, strength, and vitality. After age 50, your hormonal system becomes more vulnerable to disruption, energy levels drop, muscle mass decreases, and the risks that come with seemingly harmless daily routines grow much larger. Yet most men continue with the same habits they've had for decades, unaware that these routines could be quietly sabotaging their manhood and even shortening their lives. So what are these hidden dangers lurking in your daily routine? Which common habit is responsible for more hormonal damage than any other? And what simple changes can you make tonight to protect your testosterone, your health, and your masculinity? In this video, we're going to explore 7 deadly testosterone killers that are affecting millions of men over 50. Killer number 3 is the most dangerous. You definitely won't want to miss it. And don't worry, I'll also share the right steps to take so you can restore your natural testosterone levels safely and effectively. Before we dive into these life-changing insights, if you're new to our channel, welcome. Let's grow stronger together. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss our upcoming content. Your journey to better health and vitality starts here, and I'm excited to be part of it. Oh, and let us know where you're watching from by dropping your location in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Alright, let's get started. Testosterone killer number 7, excessive alcohol consumptio. Let's begin with a habit that many men consider harmless or even part of their identity: drinking alcohol. Having a beer with friends or a glass of whiskey in the evening seems like a well-deserved reward after a long day. But here's what most men don't realize: alcohol is one of the most powerful testosterone suppressors you can put in your body. As we age, our bodies process alcohol differently. The liver, which both processes alcohol and activates testosterone, becomes less efficient over time. At the same time, alcohol directly increases the enzyme aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. This means that every drink you have is actively feminizing your body from the inside out. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, even moderate drinking can lower testosterone by up to 25% in men over 50. How having one occasional drink might not sound like a big deal, but for men already experiencing age-related testosterone decline, it can be the difference between feeling like yourself or feeling like a shadow of who you once were. The risks don't stop at hormones. Alcohol disrupts deep restorative sleep, the very sleep your body needs to produce testosterone naturally. When you drink before bed, you might fall asleep faster, but your sleep quality suffers dramatically. You miss out on the crucial slow-wave sleep, where most testosterone production occurs. This creates a vicious cycle. Lower testosterone leads to poorer sleep, which leads to even lower testosterone. I remember a patient named Richard, 62, successful business owner, who came to me complaining of fatigue, weight gain, and low motivatio. "Doc," he said, "I just don't have the fire anymore. Everything feels like a struggle." His nightly routine included 2 to 3 glasses of wine to unwind, a habit he never questioned. We tested his testosterone levels. They were barely half of what they should be. After cutting back to just 1 glass twice a week for a month, his levels increased by 37%. "It's like someone turned the lights back on," he told me. "I actually want to get up in the morning again." So what's the best approach for men over 50? I recommend limiting alcohol to no more than 3 to 4 drinks per week. Ever more than 2 in a single day. Choose red wine if possible, as it contains resveratrol, which may partially offset some negative effects. And never drink within 3 hours of bedtime to protect your precious sleep quality. By making these simple adjustments, you can protect your testosterone levels, improve your sleep, and maintain the energy and drive that make you feel alive. Cutting back isn't about deprivation, it's about reclaiming your masculinity. one day at a time. Testosterone killer number 6, the hidden danger in your food. Let's talk about something that's affecting virtually every man watching this. Without their knowledge, the chemicals hiding in your everyday foods that are silently feminizing your body. Most men know that diet affects health, but few realize how dramatically certain foods can devastate testosterone. As we age, our hormonal system becomes more vulnerable to disruption, making these food dangers even more threatening after 50. The worst offenders: plastics, pesticides, and processed foods. These contain compounds called xenoestrogens, chemical cousins of female hormones, that mimic estrogen in your body. When these chemicals enter your system, they bind to estrogen receptors, creating hormonal chaos and overwhelming your natural testosterone. Research from the University of California found that men with the highest levels of food-based xenoestrogens in their bloodstream had testosterone levels 30 to 40% lower than men with minimal exposure. What's truly alarming is how these chemicals accumulate over time, building up in your fat cells, creating a continuous drip of estrogen into your bloodstream. I see this every day in my practice. Men who do everything else right, who exercise, avoid alcohol, get proper sleep, yet still struggle with low testosterone. One patient, Michael, age 58, former college athlete, came to me frustrated and confused. "Doc, I'm doing everything by the book. Why do I feel weak and foggy all the time?" When we tested his levels, his estrogen was nearly as high as his testosterone, a dangerous imbalance driven largely by the processed foods filling his kitchen. So which foods are the biggest culprits? Can foods lined with BPA, microwave meals in plastic containers, conventionally grown produce with pesticide residue, and perhaps worst of all, factory farmed meats and dairy? These animals are often treated with growth hormones and antibiotics that disrupt your hormonal balance when you consume them. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require awareness. Choose grass-fed, organic meats when possible. Opt for glass or stainless steel food containers instead of plastic. Buy organic produce for the items with the highest pesticide residue, like strawberries, spinach, and apples. Avoid microwaving food in plastic. The heat releases more chemicals into your meals. Drink filtered water from glass or steel bottles, not plastic. I recommended these changes to Michael. Within 6 weeks, his estrogen levels dropped. His testosterone increased by 43%, and he reported feeling sharp, strong, and clear-headed again. These simple changes won't just protect your testosterone, they'll reduce inflammation, support brain health, and potentially add years to your life. Your body wants to produce testosterone. You just need to stop sabotaging it with these hidden chemical disruptors. Testosterone killer number 5, chronic stress and cortisol overload. Did you know that the stress you feel today could be destroying your testosterone tomorrow? For men over 50, this connection becomes even more critical. Let me explain what happens inside your body when stress becomes chronic. Your adrenal glands, small organs above your kidneys, produce cortisol in response to stress. This fight or flight hormone is designed for short-term emergencies. But in our modern world, with constant pressure, deadlines, and worries, cortisol stays elevated for weeks, months, even years. Here's the problem. Your body uses the same raw materials to make both cortisol and testosterone. When cortisol production remains high, your body prioritizes this survival hormone, essentially stealing resources that should be making testosterone. It's like having a factory that can either make cortisol or testosterone. When stress is high, the factory works overtime making cortisol, leaving testosterone production shut down. Research from the University of Texas found that men with chronically elevated cortisol had testosterone levels up to 50% lower than men with normal stress responses. I see this pattern constantly in my practice. Successful, driven me, who push themselves relentlessly, then wonder why their energy, libido, and motivation have disappeared. I remember working with James, a 63-year-old executive who built his career on being available 24/7, always connected, always on. "I can't understand it, Doc," he told me. "I've always thrived under pressure. Now I feel empty, exhausted all the time." His cortisol levels were through the roof. His testosterone barely registered on our laboratory tests. What makes stress particularly dangerous for men over 50? As we age, our stress resilience declines, yet our stress exposure often increases. caring for aging parents, dealing with health concerns, financial pressures of retirement planning, all while trying to maintain performance at work. It's a perfect storm for hormonal collapse. So what's the solution? First, recognize that stress management isn't optional after 50. It's essential for hormonal health. Daily stress reduction practices aren't luxuries. They're requirements for maintaining masculinity. What worked for James was implementing 3 non-negotiable stress buffers, 20 minutes of morning meditation, no screens after 8 p.m., and 1 full day weekly, completely disconnected from work. Within 2 months, his cortisol decreased by half, his testosterone more than doubled, and most importantly, he reported feeling like myself again, but calmer and more in control. Other powerful stress reducers include regular time in nature, deep breathing practices, meaningful social connections, and activities that put you in a flow state. Remember, managing stress isn't about being weak, it's about being strategically strong, protecting your masculine edge by controlling what drains it. Your testosterone depends on it, your quality of life depends on it, and the people who count on you depend on it too. Testosterone killer number 4, statins and blood pressure medications. Let's talk about something that affects millions of men over 50, yet is rarely discussed, even by most doctors. How certain common medications could be destroying your testosterone without you even knowing it. As a men's health specialist with over 3 decades of experience, this is perhaps the most overlooked factor I see in my practice. 2 classes of medication in particular can devastate testosterone levels: statins for cholesterol and certain blood pressure medications. Let me be absolutely clear, these medications save lives, and you should never stop taking them without your doctor's guidance. But you deserve to know how they might be affecting your manhood and what you can do about it. Statins work by blocking an enzyme involved in cholesterol production. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. That same pathway is crucial for testosterone synthesis. Cholesterol is the raw material your body uses to make testosterone. When you drastically lower cholesterol, you're also lowering the building blocks your body needs for hormonal health. Studies published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that men taking statins experienced average testosterone decreases of 10 to 20% within 6 months. For men already dealing with age-related decline, this additional drop can be the difference between feeling vital and feeling depleted. Certain blood pressure medications, particularly beta blockers and diuretics, can also lower testosterone and directly impact sexual function. Beta blockers reduce blood flow to essential tissues, while diuretics can deplete zinc, a mineral crucial for testosterone production. I remember working with Thomas, a 67-year-old professor, who came to me confused and frustrated. "I started these medications to extend my life," he said. "But what's the point of living longer if I don't feel like a man anymore?" His testosterone had dropped nearly 40% since starting his medication regimen, devastating his energy, cognition, and confidence. So what can you do if you need these medications? First, never stop taking prescribed medication without medical supervision. The risks can be life-threatening. Instead, partner with knowledgeable healthcare providers who understand the importance of hormonal health. For me, often, alternative medications in the same therapeutic class may have less impact on testosterone. For statins, adding coenzyme Q10 supplements can help mitigate some negative effects. For blood pressure medications, ensuring optimal zinc levels through diet or supplementation can partially offset testosterone declines. Thomas worked with both myself and his cardiologist to adjust his medication regime while implementing lifestyle changes that supported both heart and hormonal health. Within 3 months, his testosterone increased by 30% while maintaining excellent cardiovascular markers. For the first time, he told me, "I feel like my treatment plan is actually about health, not just avoiding death." Remember, true health isn't just the absence of disease, it's the presence of vitality. You deserve both longevity and quality of life, including the energy, drive, and confidence that healthy testosterone provides. Talk to your doctor, and if they dismiss your concerns, find one who understands that hormonal health is essential for men at every age. Testosterone killer number 3, the silent sleep sabotage. We've now reached the most dangerous testosterone killer on our list, the one that affects nearly every man over 50, yet remains largely invisible. Sleep disruptio. What if I told you that what happens during your 7 to 8 hours of sleep has more impact on your testosterone than what you do during your 16 waking hours? As a doctor who's evaluated testosterone levels in thousands of men, I can tell you with absolute certainty, nothing destroys testosterone faster than poor sleep. Here's why this matters so much. After 50, up to 70% of your daily testosterone is produced during deep sleep cycles, particularly between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. As men age, sleep architecture changes. We get less deep sleep, more sleep disruptions, and for many, develop sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops during the night. Each breathing interruption triggers a stress response, spiking cortisol and dramatically reducing testosterone production. According to research from the University of Chicago, men who sleep only 5 hours per night have testosterone levels 10 to 15% lower than when they sleep 8 hours. For men with undiagnosed sleep apnea, the reduction can be 30 to 50%, equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years overnight. I remember working with Robert, a 56-year-old construction manager, who came to me with classic low testosterone symptoms: fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, no libido. His testosterone levels were barely measurable, despite being physically active and having a clean diet. "I sleep like a rock, doc," he insisted. 7 hours, never wake up. But his wife told a different story. "He snores like a chainsaw and sometimes stops breathing. I've counted, sometimes 30 seconds or more." We ordered a sleep study. Robert had severe sleep apnea, with over 30 breathing interruptions per hour. Every interruption slashed his testosterone production, leaving him hormonally depleted. Despite sleeping through the night, after treatment with CPAP therapy, his testosterone doubled in 6 weeks, without any direct hormone treatment. "I can't believe how different I feel," he told me. "It's like I've been living in a fog for years, and someone finally turned on the lights." Sleep apnea isn't the only problem. Even without diagnosed sleep disorders, most men over 50 experience delayed sleep onset, less restorative deep sleep, more nighttime awakenings, earlier morning awakening. Each disruption chips away at your body's testosterone factory. So what's the solution? First, treat sleep as seriously as you would any other health priority, not just a luxury or afterthought. Create a sleep sanctuary, dark room blackout curtains if necessary, cool temperature 65 to 68 degrees, electronics 60 minutes before bed. Establish consistent sleep timing, even on weekends, to regulate your hormonal rhythms. If you snore, have witnessed breathing pauses, or wake unrefreshed despite adequate hours, ask your doctor about sleep apnea testing. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about fundamental hormonal health. When Robert's testosterone doubled, everything in his life improved. His mood, his marriage, his motivation, his physical strength and mental clarity, all from addressing the silent saboteur, destroying his manhood every night. Remember, no supplement, diet, or exercise routine can overcome the testosterone-destroying impact of disrupted sleep. Fix your sleep, and you've already won half the battle for your hormonal health. Testosterone killer number 2, the belly fat feedback loop. Let's talk about something that's visible in the mirror, yet its hormonal impact remains hidden from most me: the dangerous relationship between belly fat and testosterone. As men approach 50 and beyond, many notice weight redistribution, particularly accumulation around the midsection. What most don't realize is that this isn't just a cosmetic issue, it's both a symptom and a cause of hormonal decline. Here's the vicious cycle that traps so many men. Low testosterone promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdomen. This belly fat then contains an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone to estrogen, further lowering testosterone, which leads to even more belly fat. Once this cycle starts, it can spiral rapidly, creating a hormonal environment that's increasingly feminized. Research from the New England Research Institutes found that waist circumference was a stronger predictor of low testosterone than age or overall health status. A man in his 60s with a trim waistline often has higher testosterone than an overweight man in his 40s. I remember working with David, a 59-year-old airline pilot, who came to me frustrated with his expanding waistline. "I'm doing the same things I've always done," he said, "but suddenly I can't keep the weight off, and the more weight I gain, the less energy I have to fight it." His tests revealed the classic pattern: low testosterone, elevated estrogen, creating the perfect conditions for continued weight gain. What makes this particularly dangerous for men over 50? Our metabolism naturally slows with age. Muscle mass declines year by year, making it easier to gain fat and harder to lose it. Meanwhile, stress levels and inflammation increase, further promoting abdominal fat storage. It becomes a perfect storm for hormonal collapse. So what's the solution? Breaking this cycle requires a multi-targeted approach. First, resistance training becomes absolutely essential after 50, not optional. Lifting weights signals your body to preserve muscle and testosterone while creating an afterburn effect that targets belly fat specifically. Second, strategic nutrition focused on protein adequacy and blood sugar management. Excessive carbohydrates spike insulin, which drives fat storage particularly around the middle and further suppresses testosterone. I put David on a protocol of 3 weekly strength training sessions, prioritizing major muscle groups, a nutrition plan emphasizing protein, healthy fats, and fiber, with carbs primarily around workouts, strategic supplements including vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium to support testosterone pathways. Within 3 months, he lost 4 inches from his waist, gained 7 pounds of muscle, and his testosterone increased by 58%. I feel like I've reclaimed my body, he told me, not just how it looks, but how it works, how it responds, how it feels to live in it. Remember, belly fat isn't just about appearance, it's an active endocrine organ, constantly converting your precious testosterone into estrogen. Every pound of belly fat you lose helps restore proper hormonal balance, creating an upward spiral of positive effects. Your body wants to find balance, you just need to create the conditions that make balance possible. Testosterone killer number 1, inflammatory diet and blood sugar chaos. We've reached the most overlooked, yet pervasive testosterone destroyer, affecting virtually every man over 50. Chronic inflammation and blood sugar dysregulation. As a doctor specialized in men's health for over 3 decades, I've tested testosterone levels in thousands of me. One pattern becomes devastatingly clear: men with unstable blood sugar and high inflammation have dramatically lower testosterone levels, regardless of age, weight, or fitness. Let me explain why this matters so much. Testosterone is extremely vulnerable to inflammatory signals in the body. When inflammation is elevated, your body downregulates testosterone production, prioritizing survival over virility. Simultaneously, testosterone receptors become less sensitive, meaning even the testosterone you do have can't work effectively. Blood sugar instability amplifies this problem, creating internal chaos that further suppresses hormonal function. Studies from Stanford University showed that men with higher blood sugar levels and inflammatory markers had testosterone levels averaging 25 to 40% lower than men with stable glucose and low inflammation. I remember working with William, a 64-year-old architect, seemingly doing everything right. Regular exercise, decent sleep, not overweight. Yet his energy, drive, and vitality had plummeted in recent years. I feel like I'm fading, he told me, not just getting older, but disappearing. His testosterone levels were barely 300 mdl, far below optimal for quality of life. But the real revelation came when we measured his inflammatory markers and continuous glucose monitoring. Despite his healthy diet, his blood sugar was spiking dramatically after meals, then crashing, creating an internal roller coaster. His inflammation levels were 3 times what they should be. The culprits: foods he thought were healthy, whole grain bread, fruit smoothies, granola, even his heart-healthy oatmeal. These carbohydrate-dense foods were creating blood sugar surges, triggering inflammatory cascades, and systematically destroying his testosterone. So what's the solution? First, understand that after 50, your body's carbohydrate tolerance changes. What you could eat at 30 or 40 may be devastating your hormones now. Focus on blood sugar stability through strategic meal composition, protein, fiber, and healthy fats first. Carbohydrates last, and in moderation. Eliminate the most inflammatory foods: industrial seed oils, corn, soybean, canola, refined grains and sugars, ultra-processed packaged foods. Embrace natural anti-inflammatories, omega-3 rich foods, colorful vegetables, turmeric, ginger, and high-quality olive oil. For William, Implementing these changes transformed his hormonal health. Within just 60 days, his inflammation markers decreased by 70%. His blood sugar stabilized. His testosterone increased to over 600 mdl without any direct hormone therapy. It's not just numbers on a lab report, he told me. I feel present again, engaged with my life. I didn't realize how much I'd lost until I got it back. Remember, no amount of exercise, supplements, or even sleep can overcome the testosterone-destroying effects of chronic inflammation and glucose dysregulation. Your body is designed to produce testosterone well into your 70s and beyond, but it requires an internal environment of stability, not chaos, of resolution, not inflammation. Create these conditions, and your masculine vitality can return, often more quickly than you might imagine. Conclusion: reclaiming your masculine edge. If you've stayed with me this far, then you already understand something that far too many men have forgot. That energy, drive, and confidence don't have an expiration date. They don't vanish at 50 or retire at 60. They fade slowly only when we allow these 7 testosterone killers to rob us of our natural vitality. We've talked today about the hidden dangers lurking in your daily habits: excessive alcohol consumption, chemical estrogens in food, chronic stress and cortisol overload, certain medications, disrupted sleep patterns, belly fat accumulation, and inflammatory diets with blood sugar chaos. Each of these silently attacks your testosterone from a different angle, creating the perfect storm for hormonal decline. But here's what I want you to take away. Your body isn't failing you. It's responding perfectly to the conditions you've created. Give it the right environment, and your testosterone production can rebound dramatically, often without medications or treatments. I've seen men in their 60s who thought their best days were behind them. Men in their 70s who had quietly given up on feeling strong and vital again. And even men in their 80s who were simply waiting out the clock. But when they began addressing these 7 core factors, something remarkable happened. They came back to life, not in a flashy, overnight way, but in a steady return to confidence, to clarity, to capability. They started standing taller, thinking more clearly, feeling engaged with their lives. I say this not as someone selling false hope, but as a doctor who's witnessed this transformation hundreds of times. Aging is real, slowing down is natural, but disappearing as losing your drive, your edge, your presence, that is not your destiny. Nature has given you powerful tools for renewal. Science has validated them, and your body is still capable of responding if you'll give it the chance. Maybe it starts with one change, one habit, one decision, one step toward believing that this chapter of your life doesn't have to be defined by decline. It can be rich, strong, clear, and purposeful. You're not done. You're not diminished. You're just being called to become more strategic about your masculinity. So if this message spoke to you, if something stirred inside you today, don't let it fade. Take action. Stay curious. Talk to healthcare providers who understand the importance of hormonal health for me. And above all, listen to your body, because it's still speaking, and it still wants to thrive. If this message meant something to you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button to let others know they're not alone. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another life-changing health tip made specifically for men like you. And in the comments type, "I'm reclaiming my edge." If you're ready to take back your energy, your strength, and your confidence, one strategic step at a time. This is Dr. John, and I'll see you in the next video.